where news comes first. WECT News begins now with breaking news.
And we start this morning with breaking news, tense moments near downtown Wilmington.
A car crash and a few minutes later, gunfire, and our crews were on the scene when it happened. Carolina in the morning, Stacy Pino live right now from the 10th and Dock Street areas near the downtown Wilmington area. Stacy, what all happened? Do you know what happened here?
Good morning, Kim and Bob. It was a very intense scene from what we're told. There was a crash that happened, and like you said, a few minutes later, gunshots broke out. Our crews were on scene, and they said they actually had to be forced to the ground for safety. I want to kind of give you a live look. This is actually an hour ago, right where I'm standing. This is where the car was flipped over. I'm going to show you on the ground. You can see what's left is here just a little bit of glass, and it looks like a little bit of rock sediment to maybe soak up some of that oil that maybe had leaked out. But this was definitely a very intense scene. It happened right around 1:30 in the morning. We can show you some of that scene video. Very intense out here. This is at the intersection of Dock Street, right where the theater now is, Dock and 10th Street. We do know that one person was taken to the hospital. We do not know the extent of their injuries. The building does not appear to be damaged, so that's definitely good news for some theater now. We do know also that power lines were knocked down and Duke Energy was on scene. And while all that was happening and our crews were out here gathering video, shots rang out in the area. Our crews were still on scene. You're looking at some of the cell phone video that they shot while laying on the ground, stomachs to the ground, still on scene, trying to gather some video to alert everyone what is going on. They said they had to lay on the ground, and this area was on lockdown for about 30 minutes. Our WECT's news operation manager, Gabe Ross, tells us those were definitely some intense moments.
As we're conversing, the next thing that happens is just a quick pop, pop, pop. Almost sounded like fireworks. And from there, I heard an officer yell, "Get down." And so we both just immediately laid flat on our stomachs and were there for probably a good 20 minutes.
So we know two things happened out here. There was a crash, and then a few minutes later, shots were fired. Officials have not told us if those two have any kind of connection. We do have a call out to the officers that were on scene. So definitely stay with us here on Carolina in the Morning. We'll be sure to bring you the latest details as soon as we learn them. Back to you.
CT's Carolina in the Morning, streaming live on WECT.com and the WECT News app.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Ratcliffe.
And I'm Bob Townsend. 5:30 is our time right now. An early morning crash and gunshots. That's what Wilmington police were dealing with just a short while ago.
That crash happening near Theater Now, the building in the 10th and Dock Street area around near the downtown area of Wilmington. Carolina in the Morning, Stacy Pino joining us live right now. And Stacy, we understand that you've been able to get a little closer look at the building.
Yeah, that's right, Kim and Bob. I'm holding a chunk of brick right now that was ripped off the building right behind me. We can give you a closer look. This is where the car made impact to the theater now. You can see several bricks are gone right here. Even a portion of this door was pushed in. The car was flipped on its back. And I want to show you one other thing. You can see some more bricks along here, but there's still some shards of glass over in this area, as well as some of this gravel used to look like maybe soak up some wetness, maybe some of that oil from the car being overturned. But this happened all around 1:30 this morning, and our crews were on scene here getting this video out here. They were stationed across the street as they were working to get some of this video that you're looking at. We do know that one person was taken to the hospital. At the time, officials are not giving any details about what caused this crash or maybe what was even leading up to this crash. We do know that power lines were knocked down and Duke Energy was on the scene. But listen to this. While all this was happening and our crews were out here gathering video, shots rang out in the area. Our crews were still on the scene. You're looking at some of the cell phone video that was shot. They were told that they had to get on their stomachs from the police officers. They had to remain on their stomachs, and this area was in lockdown for about 30 minutes. They said that a police cruiser did drive up and they were able to kind of scoot over behind it, and the police officers were protecting them while the area was clear. But they definitely said it was an intense scene out here, something they were coming out just to get some video, definitely escalated into something much more. We have calls out to the Wilmington Police Department to learn more details, because from this crash and those shots that rang out, we do not know if they're related at all. So that's one thing that we're working this morning, as well as the condition of that person who was taken to the hospital. So definitely stay with us here on Carolina in the Morning, and we'll be sure to bring you the latest details as soon as we learn them. Back to you.
Joining us, I'm Bob Townsend.
I'm Kim Ratcliffe. Happy to have you with us this morning. And new this morning, a car crash sends one person to the hospital. A few minutes later, gunshots fired near the scene.
That's right. WECT news crews were there when it happened. Police are not saying yet whether or not the two events are connected. Now, the accident happened at the Theater Now building on 10th and Dock Streets about 1:30 this morning. There was some damage to the building. One person was taken to the hospital, but there's no word yet on their injuries. Authorities are not giving us many details as to what caused the crash. However, power lines were knocked down, causing Duke Energy crews to be on the scene.
And while on the scene of that crash, our crew was forced to the ground when shots were fired in the area. This is some cell phone video they shot after they were told to get on the ground. The area was locked down for about 30 minutes, and WECT's news operations manager Gabe Ross tells us about those tense moments.
I've been in situations before where I've been back at the station and reporters have been out in the field and have had similar things happen to them. But this is the first time that it's happened to me out in the field where shots have been fired, and I have to say it's a very scary experience and not something I soon want to relive.
And again, at this time, still working to get more information as to whether or not the car crash and the gunfire are connected. We will keep you updated as we continue to ask questions. Those updates will come on air and online and the WECT mobile app.